Hi kindergartners, I'm so excited today to start reading our new Magic Treehouse book, Night of the Ninjas. What do you see on the front cover? Who are our characters that we see in every book? Yeah, I see Jack and Annie. Uh-oh, who's holding onto their arms? It's a ninja. Wow, look at the tree and the mountain in the background. That's making me think that maybe we're going to be somewhere that we've learned about last week. Do you think we're going to ancient Japan? I bet you're right. This is Magic Treehouse book number 5, Night of the Ninjas, and I'm just too excited to not start reading right away. At the end of the last book, remember, Morgan went away and the treehouse went away, and we weren't sure whether the treehouse was going to come back. So let's make a prediction before we start. Do you think when Jack and Annie go into the Frog Creek Woods today that they're going to be able to see the treehouse? Remember that clue that Morgan left in Jack's pocket? That gold medallion that he gave back to her, but then he found it in his pocket? That's kind of making me think that maybe, I'm using my thinking voice a lot here at the beginning, aren't I? That's making me think that maybe they're going to see Morgan again because she left behind that clue. Today we're going to visualize as we read. So I have my visualization card here. When we visualize, we make a picture or a movie inside our mind of what's happening in the story. So even if the illustrator doesn't draw a picture, we can see what's happening in our mind. That helps us understand the story better. Chapter 1 is called Back into the Woods. I'm going to use my reading voice now. I'm going to read what the author wrote. You ready to listen? Back into the woods. Let's look again, Jack, said Annie. Jack and Annie were walking home from the library. The path went right by the Frog Creek Woods. Jack sighed. We looked this morning, he said. We looked the day before and the day before that. Then you don't have to come, said Annie. I'll go look by myself. She took off into the woods. Annie, wait, Jack called. It's almost dark. We have to get home. But Annie had disappeared among the trees. Jack stared at the woods. He was starting to lose hope. Maybe they would never see Morgan again. Let's take a second and think. Have Jack and Annie seen the treehouse or Morgan since she left? At this point, no. They've been looking. They've gone again and again, and they haven't seen the treehouse. Weeks had passed, and there had not been one sign of Morgan Le Fay, nor had there been one sign of her treehouse. Jack, Annie called from the woods. It's back. What's back, friends? What is it? Oh, she's just pretending as usual, thought Jack, but his heart started to race. Hurry, called Annie. She better not be kidding, said Jack. He took off into the woods to find Annie. Night was falling fast. Crickets chirped loudly. It was hard to see through the shadows. Oh, I love all those things I just read, and they made me think about something I want to visualize. I want to visualize what it looks like in the woods right now. Is it daytime or nighttime? It's starting to become nighttime, and I know that because what I read in my reading voice was that night was falling fast. Crickets are chirping and it's hard to see. So that tells me that it must be close to nighttime. Let's keep reading. Annie, Jack shouted. Here, she called. Jack kept walking. Here where? He called back. Here, here. Annie's voice came from above. Where is she? Jack looked up. Oh man, he breathed. Annie waved from the window of a treehouse. It was the tallest oak tree in the woods. A long rope ladder hung from it. The magic treehouse was back. Come on up, Annie shouted. Jack ran to the rope ladder. He started climbing. He climbed and climbed and climbed. It's a tall treehouse, right? Let's take a minute and do some visualizing because there is going to be a picture, but I think we can make a picture in our mind first. Do you see the treehouse? Who's up there in the treehouse? Annie's up there, and who's gonna go up next? Jack. I can see Jack in my mind climbing up that ladder. So even though there's no picture, I can make that picture in my mind. I know Annie's already up there and Jack's going too. I'm so happy they found the treehouse. Here's what the picture looks like. Is that what you were visualizing? It's exactly what I saw too. As he climbed, he looked out over the woods. High above the treetops, it was still light. At first, Jack pulled himself into the tree. Oh, sorry. At last, Jack pulled himself into the treehouse. Annie sat in the shadows. Books were scattered everywhere. On the floor, the letter... What letter is on the floor? The letter M glowed in the dim light. The M stood for Morgan Le Fay. But there was no sign of Morgan herself. I wonder where Morgan is, said Jack. Maybe she went to the library to get some more books, said Annie. We were just at the library. We would have seen her, said Jack. Besides, the library's closed now. Squeak. Did you hear that? When you hear me read squeak, what does it make you think of in your mind? What animal goes squeak? Are you ready to find out? A little mouse ran out from behind a stack of books. It ran to the shining M on the floor. Yikes, said Annie. The mouse sat in the middle of the M. It looked up at Jack and Annie. Oh, it's so cute, Annie said. Jack had to admit the mouse was cute. It had brown and white fur and big dark eyes. I have a mouse here too. It doesn't look exactly like the mouse from the story, but it is brown. And this is going to be my mouse when I read about it in the story. You might see my mouse sometimes too. Annie slowly reached out her hand. The mouse didn't move. Annie patted its tiny head. Hi, Peanut, she said. Can I call you Peanut? What's she gonna call the mouse? Its name is Peanut. That's pretty cute. Oh, brother, said Jack. Do you know where Morgan is? Annie asked the mouse. Squeak. Oh, you're nuts, Annie, said Jack. Just because the mouse is in the treehouse doesn't mean it's magic. It's a plain old mouse that crawled in, that's all. Jack looked around again. He saw a piece of paper on the floor. What's that? Said Annie. Jack went over and picked up the piece of paper. There was writing on it. Oh, man, whispered Jack after he read the words. What is it? Said Annie. A note, said Jack. It must be from Morgan. I think she's in big trouble. And that's the end of the chapter. Oh my goodness. So today we worked on visualizing, and we could visualize some different things in the treehouse. Let's think about what we can see right now. So on the floor of the treehouse, there are always lots of what? Books. So in my head, I'm visualizing all of those books on the floor, and I see Jack and Annie there, and they hear something that makes me visualize an animal. And what animal do they see? A mouse. And so I can see that mouse sitting on the M, and Annie's patting its little head, and she's calling it Peanut. And then Jack sees something else on the floor. What did you visualize next? He saw a note. So in my mind, I can see a picture of that note. And Jack's reading it, and he's worried. He thinks that the note means that Morgan is in trouble. Oh no. I'm a little bit worried about what's gonna happen next. Is Morgan gonna be okay? Here's what I drew. This is what I was visualizing in my mind. Visualizing helps me to draw a picture of what happened in the story too. So I see Jack and Annie in the treehouse. I see that little mouse, that little Peanut. And I see Jack holding this note. I'm really wondering what that note says. And if you want to find out what the note says, then tomorrow when we read chapter 2, you can learn about what the note says. So today you're going to write about what happened in this chapter. Write about what you visualized, the important things that happened. Thanks for reading today, friends. I hope you liked chapter 1 of Night of the ninjas.